It's that time of the week again, folks. We've just watched another brand new episode of Doctor Who, and I have to say, what a beautiful episode of television it was.
Yeah.
Story in the Engine. Really enjoyed that. Did it quite hit as much as I was going to? Possibly not, but it's definitely going to be one of those episodes I think that's going to need a second watch tomorrow or later in the week for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I always like it when they go into folklore on this sort of stuff. It's especially like going into the African folklore.
Yeah.
Which was really, really good. I really enjoyed this. And the fact that stories have more than just stories, which was running through, was nice. Didn't need the internet dig about being, because he said he called it the World Wide Web for the Nexus.
Oh yeah, that was.
And then it was like before the humans made something horrendous and named it that.
Yeah, well,
but,
the internet is horrendous.
Yeah, it's not wrong. But yeah.
Yeah, I like this. I've got to be honest. I think the design. I mean, I haven't watched any of the behind the scenes stuff yet, so I don't know how they managed to make. I mean, I know they didn't go abroad, so how they've managed to make such a convincing part of Lagos, I assume probably in the Bad Wolf car park, is exceptionally well done. Very, very well done. I mean, the score, the acting, the design of it, before we even get into the writing, that was all top notch as per usual. Really well directed. I love the use of the animated sections of the wall and the way the title sequence blended into it from the wall as well, to sort of like imply that, you know, this is going to be another story to tell in the barbershop of this episode. And the whole animated parts of the wall just look really like gorgeous, the way they were done, that sort of traditional African style of art, very simplistic, but it works. It didn't overdo it. You know, you could have gone way too complicated with that, but I think it was the less is more approach really worked here. Inua Ellams really gets the 15th Doctor. I felt like the 15th Doctor here had loads of really good bits. I mean, the dialogue throughout this was beautiful, and the relationship that he has, and the way that he sort of this part of Lagos, wherever they are, I'm not sure exactly where, but in the barbershop and everything being sort of like second home to the Doctor now. He's in his first, like, well, if you exclude Joe Martin, which we'll come back to, his first black incarnation, and giving him somewhere now because there were parts of the earth that will treat him differently and stuff. And again, it's that towing the line of just emphasizing how important this is, but not overdoing it to the point of lecturing. And just really just going for the Doctor being like, yeah, I'm treated differently in different parts of the world, but I've got this place now where I can really fit in and I can feel at home and I've got these friends here. And, you know, we've never heard of this before. We've never seen it. The Doctor sort of drops it. And I quite like that because it's sort of, you know, we're seeing it through Belinda's eyes, you know, and he's been here before and he's made a home here. I really like that. That was all really, really lovely. And the relationship the Doctor has with Omo as well. And the only thing I think I would have liked to have seen more is maybe a bit more development for the other characters in the barbershop, because we've got Omo, we've got Abby, and we've got the barber, but the other side characters there, they didn't really do much.
No, they just sort of helped wrestle the Doctor into the chair towards the end.
Yeah.
You could have done this without them, but I mean, I guess they added something in terms of you got different stories, because you had the one who told the story.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but he stepped up and was like, yeah, I'll do it. And the other two, one's a runner and the other one was just coming for a trim before going to his kid's name day. That was it.
Yeah.
That's all the backstory we got on them, or any form of real worth out of them.
It's kind of very surface level. This is why we're here kind of thing, but not really any more than that. And like, I would have liked to have maybe, again, it's just because we only got 45 minutes to tell this whole story in, but I think, you know, if this were like a Doctor Who novel or something, you'd have gotten proper backstories for everyone in there, and obviously you can't do that within 45 minutes of telly. But it would just be nice to just have a little bit more for them to do, because they do just become the sort of the standard characters within the shop. But I really like the characterization of Omo, and having the idea that he met the Doctor as a child, and we never really see that quite often. I mean, we saw it literally last week, but you know what I mean, like where the Doctor keeps sort of visiting these people, and like we never see that before, but he's got this relationship with Omo and he's very like hurt by the fact that that he sort of lures the Doctor into this trap for Anansi, and well, not necessarily specifically Anansi, the idea of, and I really like that as well, the gods stuff is tied in very sensitively, because it's not just, oh, we're gonna we're going to take this West African god and it's going to be part of the pantheon. And it's like, that would have been really, I think that'd be, the optics of that wouldn't look great because you're literally culturally appropriating gods at that point.
Yeah.
And that's where you go too far. It's like the idea that this storytelling god is in very different forms, whether it's Anansi or Loki or the Greek one, which I forgot.
Yeah, Ambi.
And it being a bit more of a curveball, really like that.
Because I was kind of expecting a pantheon reveal.
Yeah, well, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting this to be the god of stories, and it's still tied to the gods. And it's interesting because when they talked about like the plot for this was to basically get rid of all of the gods, I thought, oh, my bonus prediction might come true here, where we're going to get rid of we're going to stop the pantheon for all. And the Doctor realizes that no, but because they're so connected to the Earth, it would have devastating consequences for humanity and all of that. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe not. I guess it's not happening. But yeah, really, really like this. I mean, In Your Realms, come back and do more. Be the next showrunner if you want. Honest to God, it was superbly well written. Joe Martin, which was spoiled for me when I forgot to not open Twitter this morning.
Yeah. It was nice to see Joe Martin back. I can't help but feel they're going to bring something in with her as the focus. Maybe like a spin-off or something where Joe Martin's a doctor and we get to see more about her life. Because we kind of need that now. They keep. I know this is, you were saying earlier, this has just been done to be like, okay, we're not forgetting the fugitive doctor. We're not forgetting the Chibnall bad stuff. We're trying to develop it and make it better.
If we keep relying on Joe Martin to be this sort of like cameo every now and then, it's just going to not have the same impact. It had the same impact here because nobody was expecting it. But I think if we just keep having just flashes of Joe Martin every now and then, and instead of here just actually having something to do, instead of just being told that she was the one that dealt with Anansi and the bet for his daughter and all that. But what I want to know is, our doctor now, Ncuti, knows about this. Does that mean the fob watch has been opened? Does that mean that he knows everything now? Are we all clued up on that? I couldn't really quite remember, unless it's maybe when the doctor comes into contact with something, or maybe it's because of the stories being told, it's just strong enough to break that memory filter that was put on all of that. That could have done with a bit more clarifying, or maybe it's something I've missed. Maybe after another rewatch I'll understand. But yeah, what else was there to talk about? I love the design of the brain, and it sort of folds into a tree, and it's got the heart of the beaten story, and I just love the idea of how powerful stories can become and how reliable. It's very reminiscent of In Your Realms, his other work. Like he did, I think he's most well known for a play where he's written about barbershops, like specifically black barbershops, where they all tell stories and different things, and you have these different characters. So I think it's on brand for him. But I'd really love him to come back and do some more. It was really well written. I really, really liked it.
Yeah, I did love the story that her name escapes me.
Abby?
No, Abby. When she's there telling the doctor a story about life in the slaves, with the way the masters would check everywhere for anything that was hidden, anything that could be used to escape or hurt someone, but they didn't check the hair. And honestly, Ncuti looks really good with the braid.
Yeah, he
really pulled that off. But I just love that was done, and in that time she was braiding into his hair the escape route as well.
Yeah,
like that was really, really nice. I really enjoyed that bit. And then obviously we're going through there, we find the heart in the tree and loads of just stuff from all over time. And the doctor powers this thing after disabling the engine slightly by saying, I'm born, I die. And it's just an eternal story where obviously he regenerates every time, and we get that on the screen in the background, which was I brilliantly loved. And when it went back to the barbershop, you see it on the window. Yeah, you see Paul McGann, my baby.
A bit of McGann on the telly.
Daddy McGann,
Yeah, I really liked all of that. And the one thing as well we haven't mentioned yet is Belinda seeing Captain Poppy.
Yes.
What's going on there? It's set up obviously to be like, why is Belinda seeing this mysterious girl? And I thought, am I going mad, or is that Captain Poppy from television's finest hour, Space Babies?
Space Babies is a bit more important.
Yeah, we all wrote that off, and like it's probably going to be like the big thing that saves the day in the finale or something.
You're going to hear Ncuti going, Space Babies!
Again. I thought maybe I was just going mad, and then we look in the credits, no, Poppy is credited in the so it's obviously
It is Poppy.
It's Poppy from Space Babies, but why?
Oh, asking
Who
the player.
knows?
But the Doctor said at the end of the stories were leaking out because he'd obviously damaged everything. So the stories were leaking out. So that's leaking out from his stories.
So why, of everything that Ncuti Gatwa has done,
I know, I was half expecting to see a Dalek.
Lux, 73. I mean, we wasn't really in that.
No, I
But
know.
boom. Why on earth would be the one that leaks out would be fucking Space Babies of all things?
Because it was shit.
Yeah.
No, to be fair, you'd expect to see the toy maker just stood there as going,
Yeah. I
and
don't know.
then, or ha 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 ha, just to tease the Pantheon bit before pulling the rug.
Yeah, maybe.
That would have been interesting.
I suppose we've still got 3 episodes left, so we'll have to play a part. Eurovision next week, the Interstellar Song Contest.
Yes, I may or may not be in fancy dress. I haven't decided yet.
Now this will be interesting. Yeah, because we're doing Eurovision next week after Doctor Who, so we'll be watching Doctor Who, recording this, and then doing a barbecue and getting quite drunk watching Eurovision at home. So who knows the state of us by the time we come to sit down? But we can only apologise. We'll get in the spirit of things. I reckon that next week is going to be a big one.
Yes.
I've just got this feeling. Russell was on the interview on the telly the other day saying that next week is it's a lot darker than you might think. It's funny in parts and light, but it's a very serious. And I'm thinking we're going to find out some stuff. It's going to set up the finale, and then that's where we are.
Yeah, I don't, the Anita Dobson cameo.
Oh yeah,
That was a lot more organic.
Yes.
This time
Yes.
than it has been. It doesn't feel like a Susan Twist gag.
yeah.
Again.
I was glad that she didn't just pop up at the end somewhere, just walking around the market stalls and saying something ominous about the finale. I don't know. Also, speaking of cameos, did you notice that the man when Belinda's going through the market and she knocks that basket over?
Yes.
That's Inya Ellams, the writer of this. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, of course he's going to write himself into it though, but then you
Well, I
can't
don't
blame.
think it wouldn't necessarily. He's not just a writer as well. He's a storyteller as well. So he performs his stories and things like
Yeah.
that. So it makes sense to chuck him in there. And why not?
Please do share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Let us know if you liked it, or you didn't like it, or if you got any more information about these gods of stories. I'm more than happy to learn more. I'm sure you are too, because this really was a brilliant episode for us. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'm gonna hit you. And as we'll very what's the word?
See your money.
Respectfully
See my pocket.
put
Put it in there.
if you would like to become a member, then check out our memberships. You get extended videos. You can
Extended edits, early access, suggest tiers. If you go for the top tier, Tom will tuck you into bed at night and read you a bedtime story.
once upon a time. No, but you do get to commission a video as well in the top tier, which is worth it. We've done one recently. It was probably one of the most fun videos we've done in a while. Yeah. It got very silly. Go check that out. That was for everyone, wasn't it? Yeah, go check that out if you haven't seen that yet, because that was brilliant.
We do a monthly podcast as well.
And we do a monthly podcast just for our members as well.
Where we get
so
a bit more.
you get a lot more content, and it is worth it. The prices are reasonable. Go check it out. But that's it from us. We're going to go and get pished.
All I really want is money in my pocket. Right, fine. We'll just go get pissed. See you later. Bye.